But you know, we were going over a lot of things like closing out the year, talking about next year. So you know how that goes.
Like,
Well,
how are we doing this?
you know, it's a lot. It's nothing but that.
It
ain't me. I do a little bit, but I think more so just day by day. It teaches you the next thing and teaches you the next thing. So I have vision, but a lot of it just comes together through just.
To see and to breathe and to feel only means one thing. So
Tell us who you are, what you do, and where we can find you on social media.
Okay, so I'm Haley from LoveLeys Hair. I've owned this salon for 8 years. I'm from Jersey, but I've been in Richmond now 12 years. And you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest, on YouTube at LoveLeys Hair. And that's LoveLeys Hair.
Where'd the name come from?
That's a good one because everyone thinks it says LoveLeys. But my name is Haley, so the Lee is from my name. But also, LoveLeys comes from me going to salons when I was young and feeling like, what's the word? Feeling like people were just rushing my head and feeling like people didn't want to do my hair. And I just didn't feel love at all. I just felt like it was very transactional, or like they were talking about me and not talking with me. So it was really important for my salon. You feel the love. Like you feel like people care. You feel an atmosphere where you're welcome. You feel greeted. You just feel a certain level of like love when you're here. So LoveLeys comes from me being Lee and then love being in the space.
That's beautiful. So I did read your bio on your website. You said about around 7 years old. Is that the time frame that you were referring to?
No, it's so funny. So I started doing my own hair when I was 7 because my mom couldn't do my hair. As she said, she didn't like doing hair, but I don't think it was her skill set. And we were broke, so I couldn't go to a salon. Like that wasn't an option for me. So I just started doing my hair, and I looked crazy at first. I looked like a 7-year-old who's doing her hair. But come middle school, you couldn't tell. I was doing my own hair. And then I did go to a salon for the first time when I was 14. And that was when I had a not so great experience. And I learned what I don't want to experience. So when I opened my salon, I knew I just had to make sure no one felt how I felt when I went.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that transition from moving from New Jersey to here and what sparked that?
Yeah. So my best friend is from Richmond. She's born and raised. She came to my high school her junior year. She was in foster care, and we just got cool. And she was the first person who was like, "Can you do my hair?" And I was like, "Sure," because I used to do my own hair. And she'd ask like, "Who does your hair?" And I'm like, "It's me." So I started braiding her hair, and like she wouldn't let anyone else do her hair but me. And then when she moved back to Richmond when she turned 18, she would still travel to Jersey so I could do her hair. And then I started visiting Richmond, and every time I came, people were just so nice. You know, cost of living was cheaper. People said hello to you, and I'm not used to that in Jersey. Like strangers don't speak to you in Jersey. So after college, I went to school for marketing and public relations, and I didn't really know what to do with that degree. My mom was like, "What would you do if you didn't get paid?" And I'm like, "Oh, I would do hair." She's like, "Well, you should do that for your career." And I'm like, "Mom, people don't make money doing hair. Like that's not a real job." And she was like, "If you love it, you'll do well. So you should do it." And I'm like, "I'm gonna go to Richmond. My best friend is there. She thinks I'm good. She can be my test dummy, and people here are nice." So,
if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 34. I'll be 35 December 8th. So a little less than a month.
Oh my gosh! Well, happy birthday!
Thank you, girl.
I knew you were young.
Yeah.
But like, I'm really in amazement. Like, like, how did you do this financially?
It's a God thing. I mean, I can't put it any other way. I didn't come from nothing. Like my family does not do business. We don't do anything that's like extravagant. So for me, I just knew my mom told me to operate my gifts, and I was like, let's do it. So I started off in my kitchen doing braids. I was a braid sewing girl. That was really all I did. And then come 2016, after I graduated beauty school, I worked at salons. And honestly, I knew I wanted to own my own salon when I first worked at a salon, and I just didn't like how my clients felt in there. It wasn't a bad salon. It's just the atmosphere didn't feel like what I would imagine my clients would feel, considering what I experienced and things of that nature. So I knew I wanted to. Like 2017, I wrote the business plan, and I landed into a salon. Like I met a girl. Her name is Tangi. She's from New York, so we kind of got along for that reason. And she wanted someone to rent her space with her. And I moved in with her. It was like a 3-chair suite over on Forest Hill Avenue. It was August of 2018. By September, she told me she might be moving. November told me I think she was pregnant and her husband might be going to Indiana, and then by January it was my salon. Like it just got translated into me. She transferred it over to me, and I wasn't ready. But I'm like, but God, we're here. What we gonna do? So then that's when I started hiring and stuff of that nature. It was up and down, me trying to own a business because you know how to do hair, but business is sold separately. Managing people is sold separately. Just running the operations is sold separately. So I had to hire a lot of coaches. I told you I was just on the phone with one of my coaches. And this came about for me just always learning, always getting coaches, always having someone teach me the next step. And now we're here.
Okay. So, lots of questions.
Yeah.
So did you write your business plan on your own?
That's a good question. So I met a guy named Robert. Okay. I can't think of his last name, but he worked with the small business, I want to say SBA. And he gave me a template. If you want the template, I can send it to you.
Yes, please.
I still have it for anyone who wants it. And it literally has line by line what you put in your business plan. And I just filled in the gaps.
Okay.
That was it.
Did you seek funding, like outside funding?
I did. So I didn't get anything until 2020. Okay. With all the PPPs and EIDLs.
Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah, so PPP is, Jesus, don't get me lying, the acronym for it. But basically, around the time when businesses had to close, they were giving funding to business to pay for like operations like payroll, rent or whatever the case was, because we were shut down and we couldn't operate. Right. So I got 2 rounds of PPP loans, which was basically, it was more of a grant because it got forgiven if you could show them that you used it for what you said you needed it for, which was like payroll and overhead, which is what I used it for. So I got 2 rounds of that. And then I also got an EIDL loan, which is basically from the SBA, which is an economic something development loan. I don't know the acronym, but during the COVID crisis, a lot of businesses lost money. Things went up. People weren't, doing what they were supposed to do. So I got a loan from them for like $22,000. It's funny because I was approved for like $130,000, and my crazy tail didn't take it because I was afraid of having that much money. Wow. Hindsight is 2020 because I would have took that money if I knew then what I know now. Because it was like less than 3%. I want to say the interest rate is. You can't get a loan these days for under 10%.
Wow.
So if you ever get an opportunity to take a loan for that much money, take it. For especially a small percentage like they were offering. But yeah, I got that in 2020 as well, which I just sat on. I just had like a nest egg until I needed it. And it came helpful when I was like developing my business and trying to invest in things. And then when I moved here, I got a Kiva loan, which is something you should probably look into as well, which is a 0% interest loan that you can get through crowdfunding. Like just telling people what you want to do, people invest, and they match what people invest into you. So when you pay back the loan, you're paying back the people who invested into you instead of like a bank. So I got one of those too.
Okay. I'm like, how do we get one of those?
Kiva, literally, I was sponsored by MBO, Metropolitan Business Week, but I spoke with a lady. Carol Reese was one of the ladies who got it, who also does like marketing. But I could look through my emails and tell you who the contact is. Okay. But if you look up Kiva Loan, it'll tell you all about it. KIVA.
KIVA. We got it on camera.
Kiva Loan.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So what was it like hiring your staff? What was that like?
So I always say hiring is like dating, but you're paying people. I hate to say it that way, but that's how it feels because you're always excited. You're always optimistic. You always think, oh, this is the one. And then sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Yeah. So me being an internal optimist, I'm always thinking the greatest things are going to happen. So I had a lot of like trial and error through hiring people who weren't aligned because I was hopeful that it would be aligned, but even though they didn't have all the attributes that made them a good fit for my business. So I had to learn the hard way through people coming and leaving that I'm the problem. Like I obviously don't have clarity on who is a good employee for my business. So come 2020, I was by myself for like a year and a half, which was perfect. Because 2020, I didn't want to have to worry about taking care of anybody but myself because it was a lot.
Yeah.
So that worked out great. And I did more coaching and got some development on like what things in me are preventing me from having clarity on what works well for my business. And through more coaching, I found out like I just didn't have the ideal person in mind. I didn't know what all the features of this person looked like. So once I found out what my business needed, the type of qualities that person, character, what they were into, what kind of, attributes that person is, then I could better find the right person. So come 2022, I started hiring again, and now I have a total of 8 team members, and 2 of them have been with me since 2022. So that's
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I hear you saying coaching.
Yes.
How did you find out that or figure that you needed a coach?
Yeah.
And how did you go about getting a coach?
So I've gotten in many ways, a lot through referrals, a lot through looking, or just like right time, right place. So my first coaching I did, it's like online. It's called Thriver Societies for salon owners and stylists. I'm still in that coaching program now, where it kind of just helps you with marketing yourself and positioning yourself as an expert in the industry. And when people find you, they know who you are and what you stand for. That has been a game changer for me, because I know when people find my salon, it's obvious I do natural hair. It's obvious I'm passionate about education. Like, you can see me and know what we do. So I've gotten coaching through just being referred to that program from my old boss.
Okay.
But outside of that, you remember Clubhouse?
Is that a show?
No.
No.
So Clubhouse was an app. It was like a social media chat room where you was basically on like audio with all these random people.
Okay.
I don't know how you missed that. It was around 2020. So Clubhouse got real popular because people stuck in the house. And it's this app, like it was like invite only. And you would just be in these rooms and people would just be talking. And one of the people talking was Audrey Richmond. And she was a strategist, a marketing strategist. So I got into a coaching program with her, which helped me to make my business like more special in how I presented things, like, video trainings and things of that nature. Like, if you go on my website, there's a lot of areas where there's videos that talk to you about things, because people don't like to read. So all that to say, it helped me to position my business differently through that marketing coach I just met in a chat room. Another coach I had slid in my DMs one time, and she helped me with like hiring and developing like my handbooks. My coach I have right now, I met her through Society 1111, which is a private team that works in my salon. She coaches them. And she came and did a coaching with us as a group. And I was like, you offer coaching for other salons? Because she has a med spa, 2 med spas in Richmond called Sage and Vine. So they do like aesthetics and waxing and, what do they call it?
Micro,
all of it,
whatever.
Yeah, all of it. Laser
whatever.
hair removal.
You know what I'm talking about.
They do all the skin.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So she has 2 amazing salons. So she coaches me on how to better manage my team and how to really just clean up the back end, so it's like seamless, where if I walked away, everyone could know everything that my business needs to run. So yeah.
Wow. And it does run. It looks like it runs seamlessly.
Thank
even
you.
From the outside. I've only been in here one time, and it's like,
I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. So when it came to the financing, like, how did you go about like renovating this space and decorating and making it look like you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the bare bones of this building was already beautiful. Like the high ceilings, the windows, the pillars, that was all there, but it was dark and gloomy. It was very gray and black. And I was like, that's not me. My old salon was very much all this turquoise. The color that I saw first was called Tranquility. And I just loved the feeling of just feeling relaxed. So I was like, I'm gonna take that color with me to this next place. Greenery had to be a part of it, because natural, it just makes you feel natural. As well as gold. Gold is my favorite color, so you're gonna see gold everywhere. Outside of that, I did work with a designer. Transparently, it did not go well. So I learned a lot of hard lessons from working with the designer. He or they helped with inspiring some things in the space, but then I had my community and my friends help me finish the project. Wow. And yeah, it just came together, honestly. Financing, that's when I did the Kiva loan to try to finance moving into the space. So I was telling everyone I'm moving into a bigger space, because the space we had before this was like 1/6 of the size. It was very small compared to this. So I crowdfunded like $12,000 for this. That was not enough. It was a little, it wasn't enough. So really I used all my business credit cards. I maxed them all out.
Can we talk about business credit cards for a sec? So a lot of brown Black people, they shy away from loans and financing, and they do it in their own particular way. You're the first one that I met that actually said you financed and you've done, so did you start off with business credit cards?
Mm-mm.
You just started off reinvesting the money that you had made.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So business credit cards came probably 2022. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I first had a secured credit card through Wells Fargo, where they like connect it to your account. So whatever you use, you're taking from yourself. And then once you build up like, I guess, a good reputation, they'll unsecure it. So now you can use their money instead of using your own money you're borrowing. And then I got an Amex credit card, which is better because a business Amex, it doesn't touch your personal credit. So you can go crazy and it will never hit your personal credit.
Okay.
So that's the ideal because when you're doing stuff for business, it's not the same as doing stuff for personal. Like there might be times where you use a lot of money, might be times where you don't use a lot of money. The only thing with those is the interest rates got really disrespectful. They were like 29% once I did everything I had to do because it went up the more you used it. And I ended up going through, what is it called? Bridging Virginia. Write that down. So Bridging Virginia is connected to Kiva. It's like a partner in Kiva, where for those businesses that have high interest debt, they will take over all your debt and lower the interest. So I had like, I would say like $20,000 in credit card debt from building out the salon. And what they did is they, checked what I used it for, checked, what was going on so they could prove that I did good with that money. I wasn't just being reckless. And they took over.
What helps you stay consistent and organized day to day?
That's a day-to-day thing. It's no one way. I think consistency. I'm ambitious naturally, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep growing just because that's just who I am. I get bored easy, so if I do the same thing for a long period of time, I have a problem with that. So when I think of consistent, I think of consistent growth, not consistently the same exact thing. Organize my calendar. I live by my calendar. Like if it's not booked, it's probably not gonna happen. And yeah, organization is something I still struggle with. Like I have people in my business that, support me with that. Like whether it be a coach or a team member, they do certain tasks because it's just a lot to manage by yourself. But I'll say honestly, reminders in my calendar is what keeps me organized.
Okay. So do you use a physical calendar or your phone?
I have one. My physical calendar gets used and then I just put it away. I love those people who just always pick up their calendar and write everything. That's not me. I'm more on my phone, putting it on my virtual calendar.
How'd you get started with the LoveLeys Natural Hair Academy?
So the academy, we have one that's more for clients, and then we have academy for the stylists. Okay. So the academy came around because 2020, everyone was struggling to do their hair when the salon was closed. And I didn't want people making horrible mistakes and then I had to come back into the salon and fix them. So I created an academy to help people with managing their hair at home. So that really went over everything from like first understanding your hair, how often you should wash it, how often you should trim it, what kind of products you should use. And then I had video tutorials on how to shampoo your hair, how to set and define your natural curls. And it just was a way for people to have a foundation on how to care for their hair. And then we started to add other things like flat twists and things like that to the training. It's something that I actually plan to revamp soon, but it was birthed from 2020 when people could not go into the salon.
Okay. Yeah. So I see you're feeling a need.
Yeah.
Is the academy online since it was 2020?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you go to our website, it'll be under education and you'll see Natural Hair Academy.
Okay. And how is that academy different from the one for your employees?
Great question. So the LoveLeys Hair Academy is more so around everything we do in the salon. So it starts with like training them on how we consult, how we talk to clients, the things that we have to go through before even touching that person's hair. And then we also go over shampooing, like every step of our shampoo process, which is very similar to the one in the academy for clients. But just making sure everyone knows how to handle every texture with care, because some people don't know how to manage certain textures because they're different from their hair. And that was a big thing I think that caused issues for me when I was growing up. Is like my hair was very tight, coiled, like it was very much what they call 4C. So a lot of people feel like that hair is so hard to manage, when really you just have to know how to work that hair. So really just make sure no matter what had gotten in their hands, they knew how to manage it. And then it goes into styling. So defining curls, twists, rod sets, silk press, curly cuts, and then we go into color and root touch-ups, highlights. So really it's everything around what we do here in the salon.
What's been the hardest season so far being a business owner?
It's a lot of hard seasons. But I would say the hardest season, I think they're hard in different ways. So I think 2020 was hard. Actually, 2020 was great for me. I like 2020 because I got to chill. Like, even though I was doing the most, I walked more. I took care of myself more because I wasn't doing hair all day. So actually, at that point in 2020 where we shut down, it was good. But when we reopened, it was really hard because it was like overflow, which is a great thing, but it was only me at the time. So it was points where like I didn't take a day off for like 3 months. Oof. And that was really hard on my body, on my mind. So that was a really hard season for me. I got to shout out my client slash friend, Tiffany Jana. She actually had to write a letter to my clients for me because I couldn't articulate what was wrong. Like I was having a breakdown. Okay. Because I'm a giver, I don't know how to say no. I mean, I do now. There was a point in time where I did not know how to say no, so I would just take people even though I knew I was at capacity. So that was a really hard time, if I could just mention one.
So did you seek therapy?
Yeah, therapy has always been hard for me. I have sought therapists, but it's hard for me to find my therapist. Like, I think, and this sounds really crazy, but I've had therapists who were more like, oh my gosh, you're very wise for your age. Like, they would tell me like, oh my gosh, that's good rationale. And I'm thinking like, I didn't call you to tell me I'm doing well. I'm calling you to help me fix my issues. Yes. Because I know I'm mature for my age. I know that I'm not stupid. I know I make pretty good choices. And I felt like they weren't giving me enough action steps to become better. Okay. So that's why I'm a big coaching person. Because coaching has helped me a lot more than therapy because I can go to someone for a specific issue and they coach me to basically better understand my limits in that issue and how to resolve it. I've done something called shadow work. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've heard of that, but tell us what that means.
So shadow work is when you are basically tackling your shadow self. So your shadow self is the part of you that's running on autopilot and you don't know it. So it could be your like inner child. There's different phases where it could be like the infant, it could be the toddler, it could be the teenager, it could be they call like the prince or the queen or whatever the case may be. It's different versions of you that might be running behind the scenes and you don't know it. So I found for me, there was this like fear around a lot of things, wanting to be liked and whatever those things were. And those showed up in how I led. Those show up in how like I was able to articulate things because I had fears that were preventing me from really stepping into the season I'm supposed to be in. So I think that shadow work helped me more than anything because it helped me to find out like what limits are preventing me from doing what I want to do and being who I want to be. And also helping me to affirm myself. Like, it was a lot of meditation. It was a lot of affirmation, like doing affirmations. And I think that helped me to kind of just become more unapologetic about who I wanted to be instead of just like holding back because I'm fearful of what people will say or think or what's going to happen. Yeah.
So where did you find out about shadow work?
So I had a client, I still have a client, she's amazing, Erica, and it was funny because around the time where I was losing staff and it wasn't consistent, and I was expressing to her my frustration, she was just like, you should talk to Evelyn. So Evelyn was the coach that I worked with, that she was also working with for her personal things that she was going through. And that's how I met her.
Okay. Yeah. So she's a coach in reference to shadow work.
Yeah, so she works under a bigger umbrella. The umbrella of it was called SD. Hold on, what was it called? Self-Discovery Life Mastery. So SDLM, I think. Anywho, it was called Self-Discovery.
Okay.
And the self-discovery work had multiple coaches. So she was the personal coach I worked with, but then I would go to Florida and they would have big workshops with multiple coaches in group settings. Oh, wow. So I did individually, virtually with this one woman, but then I would go in Florida physical workshops with a lot of people.
Okay.
So yeah, and I did. But mental health, I think honestly, outside of that, I'm very spiritual, as you might have heard, I'm thanking God all the time. I just feel like you have to have some type of grounding spiritually because mental is a lot of like your soul and like what's going on with you on the inside. So if you're like very unstable, like I think a lot of it is like getting your spirit settled. And for me, God helps me a lot with that too, because I'm a big prayer, like casting my stuff over there, giving it to God. Because if you hold the weight of the world, you're going to feel stressed out and heavy. Like you can't do it all. And some people try to do everything and you can't. So I'm good at just telling God, take this because I can't do it.
So when was it that you started? Okay, so it was around after 2020 when you started outsourcing and getting employees, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you had the mental health breakdown.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was more like around the exhaustion of 2020 reopening and taking on more than I could bear. I think it was me trying to please everyone and do everything when I wasn't well. Like I wasn't taking care of myself. Like I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't exercising. I had gained a lot of weight. I was probably my heaviest around that time. And yeah, like interpersonally, I didn't really have the best relationship or whatever the case may be. So I think everything in my life was just almost like not where it was supposed to be. Like I wasn't taking care of myself during that time.
At that time, did you know that this is going way off?
Yeah.
But it's okay because somebody might need to hear it. Did you know that you were unhealthy mentally?
No,
did you know?
Of course not. I thought it was fine. Me too. I know I didn't feel always great, but I didn't know I was as unhealthy as I was. I think no one knows they're unhealthy when they're unhealthy until something happens and you break down and you're like, oh, I'm not well.
Yeah.
So no, I felt like I was doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
That was terrible. How do you define success?
Oh my gosh, I think success is doing what you love with who you love doing it with. Like, honestly, like I think you can have all the money in the world, but if you hate what you do every day and who you do it with, that's not success. Like, of course, money, we all like to think money brings success. Of course, I like money because money means opportunities to do things.
Right.
But I think I've learned that no amount of money can make you happy. So it's more so about loving what you do and loving who you do it with and how you do it. That's success to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What message would you leave those who are chasing their dreams right now?
I would tell them to get out of their own way, because I find the biggest reason why you do not succeed is because you have limited beliefs around your own abilities. Even my team, I coach them all the time around like, you're stuck because you're not acting. You're just thinking of all the things that are limiting you instead of just doing and letting everything come as you do it. So yeah, if you're chasing your dreams, you just have to keep walking. You have to keep running, because the only thing that will prevent you is when you stop and when you don't believe in yourself. Everything else is just a temporary matter. Like you can get beyond it. Yeah.
This is besides the point. Have you ever heard of quantum leaping? They say when you get to basically like a new point in your life, like all of a sudden, that's a quantum leap.
I like it.
Has that happened to you?
What do you call it? A culmination of steps. I think when I moved into the salon, it almost was a quantum leap. It took a lot of steps to get here, but I think getting here and arriving here caused me to show up as a different version of myself. I remember the grand opening that day, I felt like a new version of myself. I felt like it was like a culmination of every dream and vision I've written out coming to a present place where I see it manifest. People see it manifest. It is here, you know? And even though I'm not exactly where I want to be in totality, it was manifested where I felt like it was a leap into the future versus being stuck in the past.
Okay. And where do you want to be?
That's funny. This is something that I talk to my coaches and people close to me about, but I don't really always talk about online. So you'll be the first.
Oh, okay.
Yay. So
it's an exclusive.
So I am naturally gifted with encouragement. Like my gift is exhortation. Like I know how to encourage people to show up as their highest and best. Yeah. So that's, I think, what makes me an amazing stylist, because I know how to encourage people to feel beautiful and love on themselves. That's what makes me an amazing leader, because I know how to encourage my team to reach their goals. So I really see myself getting paid to speak and focusing on encouragement as my pathway to serve people. So I have a YouTube channel. It kind of focuses on hair right now, but I see it transitioning more so into developing people, whether it be towards their goals, whether it be business, or even towards just self-development. Because in order to get anywhere bigger than where you came from, you have to develop yourself a lot, and you have to continue to work on yourself. It's never stopping. That's why I do so much coaching. So I honestly see myself stepping into being more of a coach / encourager for people, because it's really something that it fills me, like seeing people think they can't do something and then do it just by getting out their own way. So I think I'm gonna step into that more so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to say to our YouTubers? Encouraging them.
Yeah, honestly, get out your way. That's all I got.
Period.
Because I just feel like when I talk to people around fear, around why they don't have what they want, the biggest issue is that they are in the way. Like they are just thinking small when they need to think big. They're thinking they can't when they really can. So I think be mindful of your words. Like everything that I have was created by saying I could do it. So I know anything that anyone wants to do, it'll happen if you believe it and speak it. So yeah, that's what I leave with y'all.
Thank you so much, Haley.
You're welcome.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.